is a day that you're gonna remember. Always execute your girlfriend.
The film starts with a man dressed in black, known as the Traveler, entering a building. He places his gun and approaches a man to purchase a vehicle. However, the dealer informed him that he will have to pay double for that particular ride. Just then, the dealer began to cough profusely before bleeding and dying. The man also eliminated the dealer partner before burning down the building. He headed out and took his vehicle. The scene shifted to Ethan Copek, waking up alongside with his girlfriend before they prepared together to go to their various jobs. On their way, Ethan Copek informed his girlfriend, whose name is Nora, on how he so much loves Christmas. And we are meant to know that Ethan Copek is a TSA agent at LAX Cooperation for 3 years, who has had an unremarkable career. His girlfriend Nora worked at the organization as the manager in the airport, whom Ethan Copek deeply loves. Before they board a bus, Nora encouraged Ethan to rethink applying as a police officer, since it has always been his dream before his first failed attempt to join. While inside the bus, Ethan Copek got informed about expecting a baby. She further reminds him that she rejected him a couple of times before agreeing to a date, encouraging him not to give up after just one attempt. Soon after, they arrive at LAX and proceed to head straight to their separate jobs. A man bumped Ethan, which annoyed him. Afterwards, Ethan ran to catch up with time, but yet again he shows up late, much to his superior's annoyance. However, Officer Williams continued to brief the team about a new directive from the Department of Homeland Security. The order simply requires issuing a smart pens that detect fake boarding passes, and the crew is instructed to report any suspicious activity to their senior officer Leo. Later on, Ethan's friend urges him to work on his punctuality and take his job more seriously, reminding him he now has an unborn child on the way. Ethan, who is now motivated, then went on to approach his supervisor to request a promotion. As expected, his supervisor highlights his lateness, and he got rejected. Ethan wasn't going to take no for an answer, so he went into the office to defend himself, stressing his qualifications for the role. He confidently claims he could do the work better than anyone and also spot a fake boarding pass better than Officer Leo. Immediately, Ethan's friend kindly offers to step aside in order to let Ethan take over the machine to prove his skills. Nearby, a white van arrived at the airport, and inside it, a man is tied up by a man known as Watcher. Watcher then began to hack into the airport security system, including the cameras. Nora, now on her duty post, got a curious message from her love, which she replied back saying she is eager to know, so Nora goes to meet with him. Whereas Ethan receives the smart pen from the officer and takes his place at the machine. In order to prove himself using this chance given to him, he begins scanning the items carefully, staying focused on the task. Back to the Traveler, who bumped into Ethan earlier, begin to seek an update from Watcher outside. But unfortunately, a problem arises as Jason, who is Ethan's friend, was meant to be at the scanning machine, but Ethan is there in his place instead. They began to do their research on Ethan Copek to find things they could use to tire him down. The Watcher tracked down Ethan's address and discovers he has a girlfriend and a baby on the way. Just then, a customer approaches Ethan, informing him that a property at the pass section wasn't hers. She handed it to him. Inside it was an AirPod. So Ethan decided to go place it in the lost and found. Immediately, he got a notification message, insisting he put it on. As soon as it's in place, a voice which seems calm but yet menacing delivers a scary threat. Ethan must allow a specific bag to pass through the scanner without alerting anyone, or his girlfriend will die. However, Ethan thinks this is all a prank or a test from Eddie to know if he is capable of the job. They informed him that Eddie is just nearby, and it not a prank. The Traveler then began to direct Ethan. He instructed him to let a man wearing a red cap, heading for Northwind Flight 1850, pass through security without being checked. So in fear, when Ethan asks what's in the man's bag, the Traveler ignores the question, coldly stating it's none of his business. The Traveler starts listing his friend who are close to Ethan, Nora's home address, and details about his family, including the fact that Jason has a twins. Now that Ethan realized this is a serious threat, in desperation, Ethan subtly tries to call 911, hoping to alert someone to the situation. Unfortunately for Ethan Copek, the Watcher caught Ethan and immediately informs the Traveler. The Traveler quickly explained to Ethan that his men have a rifle aimed at his pregnant girlfriend, ready to fire if he disobey or anything goes wrong. So in a panic, Ethan ends the call and locks his phone in a drawer, with his hands now trembling. The Traveler instructions are simple, just checking the luggage. The scene shifted to a detective named Elena arriving at the Christmas tree shop to investigate the murders of the dealers from earlier. The detective finds a watch and opens it. She discovers that it is an ATF bug, a device used by firearms and explosives to spy on criminals, which is owned by the dealer who was wearing at the time of his death. Back to the airport, everyone began to hurriedly move to catch up with their flight. Meanwhile, Ethan tries to send an SOS message using his smartwatch. However, yet again, Ethan fails as nothing escapes the watchers who watches him carefully. Again, Ethan is forced to put the device away. The traveler, now very furious, begins to seriously threaten Ethan while also revealing personal details about Ethan's life. Ethan is left confused, wondering how the traveler managed to access such specific information about him. Back to Detective Elena, she took the damaged ATF chip to a friend and colleague to help retrieve the data on the chip. After carefully analyzing the chip, the officer manages to recover fragments of audio as it is badly degraded. At the airport, the traveler finally reveals an information that he is just a freelancer, someone who takes on jobs to get them done for his clients, with no questions asked. Ethan began to watch carefully as the traveler casually sat in a nearby chair. Ethan then shuts off the scanner and asks a passenger for their boarding pass. Ethan quickly scribbles details about the traveler's identity and discreetly hands the note to Officer Leo under the guise of routine security protocol. The officer glances at the note, instantly recognizing the gravity of the situation, and heads off to summon backup. Unfortunately, the traveler, always one step ahead, senses that something is wrong. Before the officer can act, the traveler stealthily injects him with a syringe containing a fast-acting agent, triggering a fatal heart attack. Now facing the traveler in person, he makes things more clear by issuing a very strict warning, which is if Ethan tries anything, his men won't hesitate to shoot Nora. He further informed him his rules are still the same, nothing much, just clear the luggage for a pass. Ethan got back to his position, but he is informed his superior unexpectedly reassigns him to his original post near the metal detector, disrupting the traveler's plan. The traveler warns Ethan that failing to return to his designated position will have deadly consequences. Ethan comes up with a risky plan. Firstly, he stole some alcohol from the store and went straight to an office to mix the drink in a coffee. Once he was done, Ethan went straight to Jason and swaps it with Jason's drink. Later on, Jason's superior smells the alcohol and immediately fires him on the spot. As Jason leaves, he gives Ethan a knowing look, as if he realizes Ethan was the one who exchanged the cup. Ethan takes back his post and reluctantly allows the bag to pass through the scanner without raising any alarm. Officer Elena, now busy trying to piece together the fragmented audio from the ATF chip. She soon recognizes it as a deadly neurotoxic chemical infamously used in Russian chemical warfare. Elena immediately contacts Homeland Security. After the bag passes through, Ethan returns the boarding pass to the traveler's goon named Mateo. Later on, Ethan rushed to the restroom to vomit, overwhelmed by guilt. The traveler soon reveals the danger of the deadly chemical Novichok, explaining how even a small amount could cause someone to drown in their own blood. Meanwhile, Agent John, who is from the Department of Homeland Security, arrived to review Elena's findings. However, both Elena's captain and the agent are skeptical of her conclusions as they can't declare martial law over soft lead. Just then, the tension escalates when her colleague interrupts, informing her that a 911 call had been placed from inside LAX, registered under Ethan Copek. Ethan meets up with his girlfriend Nora, and they both had a long conversation as she wanted to know what his news was all about. He informed her about his promotion at the office. Nora seems not happy about this as she knows this won't make him happy. Back to Elena, they concluded their investigation and immediately, the police arrive at the Northwind terminal to investigate the potential threat, heightening the tension in the bustling airport. Ethan's superior informed the crew that the cops are here to conduct random security checks on 50 passengers as a precautionary measure. Ethan secretly accesses the scanner logs, logging in with his superior's credentials, and manually flags Matto, the traveler's associate, for inspection. Once everyone leaves, Jason approached Ethan and informed him that he knows what Ethan had done and warned him not to talk to him again. The public address system announces Mateo's name, instructing him to report to security. Immediately, the traveler realized Ethan is behind the disruption. Furious, he prepares to take action. Ethan, now overwhelmed by fear and guilt, decides to run to save his girlfriend. Immediately, the watcher drove to a secluded area and prepared his weapon. Just as Ethan reaches Nora, he notices a red laser tracing her head, a sniper's aim. Nora confronts him. She demands to know if he was responsible for Jason's sudden dismissal. Before Ethan can respond, the traveler warns Ethan, threatening to shoot Nora. Ethan backs away. The traveler meets Ethan in the bathroom, unleashing a brutal attack. A fight ensues, with Ethan struggling to defend himself. Just then, Ethan grabs a gun, pointing it at the traveler, and now threatening him to call off the snipers targeting Nora. However, instead of calling off the sniper, he activates a timer, which is a weapon set to detonate in just 10 minutes. Realizing the situation, Ethan races to stop the explosion. When he reaches the location, he finds his superior with Matto. The traveler encourages Ethan to shoot his supervisor. Ethan hesitates, but just then, Mateo stabbed the supervisor with a piece of pin, killing Ethan's superior immediately. Mateo reveals to Ethan that just like him, he is simply just another pawn in the Traveler's hidden agenda. Mateo's husband has been taken hostage. He's been forced to obey the Traveler's orders. With the help of the Traveler, Ethan manages to defuse the weapon. As Elena and Agent John drive to the airport, Elena receives a call from her colleague. The colleague informs her that LAX has sent over a list of high-profile individuals, including 4 Marines. However, the conversation takes a disturbing turn when Elena discovers that the agent with her is just some impersonating Agent John. Elena confronts him, and a huge battle ensues while they drive. Their vehicles crashes, and fortunately for her, she eliminated him. She quickly stops a car and drives toward the airport. Mateo and Ethan are struggling to dispose of Ethan's superior's body. The Traveler then ordered Mateo to kill Ethan. Just as he proceeded to do so, Ethan saw him and a violent fight ensues between the two, and in the chaos, Mateo accidentally shoots himself. As he lies on the floor seriously wounded, he apologizes for his actions before dying. Ethan grabs Mateo's phone and attempts to call Nora, but she doesn't pick up. He then messaged one of his colleagues, urgently warning him that Nora is in serious danger. Immediately, the Traveler approached Ethan and insisted that he gave him the bag, but as expected, Ethan ran with it. Agent Elena arrived at the airport and immediately began to ask for Ethan. Nearby, Ethan's friend got a hold of Nora and showed her the message about the terrorist and to look out for a van with a sniper. Just then, the Watcher arrived and Nora sees him. He began to work towards them. Ethan's colleague then tried stopping him, but unfortunately for him, the Watcher took him out. Meanwhile, the Traveler began to find his way to the terminal. Now at the parking lot, the Watcher began to chase after Nora, but she cooked up a plan which worked as the Watcher crashes, giving Nora an opportunity to hide. Agent Elena found Mateo's lifeless body, and just then, Ethan ran out. She ordered for his arrest, but Ethan tried to explain things to her which she wasn't ready to listen. As she proceeded to handcuff him, Ethan knocked the gun out of her hand and escaped while spilling more information to her about the Traveler. Back to Nora, she attacked the Watcher to escape. Just as she did so, Ethan found her, and the two then foolishly decided to hug at that moment. As they did so, the Watcher arrived yet again. Jesse shot the Watcher, saving the two of them. Ethan and Nora approach him, and in a plot twist by Traveler, he is actually heading straight to Washington, D.C., and not New York, as he got 2 tickets on him. The Traveler arrived, and a lady who gave Ethan the AirPod from earlier then delivered a bag with tickets to the Traveler. Meanwhile, Ethan's friend is rushed to the hospital, while Nora headed to the airport to find Elena. The Traveler now on the plane got a sad news as his luggage can't fit into the carry-on. A flight attendant immediately came to sort the issue, insisting that she take it back to cargo, which is eventually scanned. Nora and Ethan figure out which plane the Traveler is on. Ethan tells Nora that the only way to prevent a catastrophe is to let the plane take off. Elena receives a call from her colleague, who realized the grand plan orchestrated by the Traveler is one of the congresswomen who is attempting to pass a bill that would greatly benefit weapons manufacturers. Nora to find Detective Elena and inform her of the situation, hoping it will help prevent disaster. Ethan got into the cargo and began to deactivate the bomb. Unfortunately, Ethan got a notification and immediately heads straight toward his luggage. He found Ethan and threatened him to drop the luggage. Ethan refuses, and he immediately shot him. Ethan grabs the weapon and locks the Traveler in the cargo fridge with one of his chemicals, where he eventually succumbs to the cold and died. Immediately, the plane landed and police and other agencies arrived at the scene. They took in Ethan, but Detective Elena arrived. She is impressed by Ethan's bravery, offers him a job as a police officer. A year later, and Ethan is living a fulfilling life. He's happily settled with Nora, raising their child together. Ethan and Jason later sorted their misunderstanding. The film then came to an end. Kindly subscribe if you enjoy recap like this. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.